you live.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Free Assange Vigil. My name is Steve Poikinen. I'm joined by my co-hosts Misty Winston and Andrew Smith. Holy moly, it's our 83rd consecutive week of doing these vigils. That is wild. What is even more wild is it's been 3,706 days of illegal and arbitrary detention for Julian Assange, 661 days since the WikiLeaks founder was trafficked from the Ecuadorian embassy after being sold to the United Kingdom for a $4.2 billion IMF loan. It has been 27 days since District Judge Vanessa Breitzer, concierge to the U.S. State Department's January 6th ruling denying Julian Assange bail after previously ordering his release and denial of rendition. 1,300. What?
Keep going. Sorry.
Okay. 1,330 days of federal incarceration for Reality Winner. On the plus side, Chelsea Manning has been out of jail and a free human being for 326 days. She does live stream on Twitch. And Jeremy Hammond has been out of prison for 77 days. He has been in a halfway house. I do hope that time is coming to a close, and he can be even less attached to the state. So how are y'all? And what were you yelling at me for, Sleepy Josh? Did I do something wrong?
No, I did. I fucking didn't have the chat open, and I opened it, and it wasn't muted.
Oh.
It was only like a second, though.
Okay.
See, you didn't even do anything wrong, Steve.
So you were technically yelling at yourself. That's what you heard.
Oh, okay. Well, that's familiar. That is certainly familiar.
So tonight we're going to do things a little bit differently, just to get to some information we haven't gotten to and just to try to change things up a little bit. We don't have a guest tonight. It's just the three of us. We're going to go through some really important news surrounding WikiLeaks with the whistleblower for Vault 7 and a couple other things like the pardon document. But we're also going to start doing kind of like a this month in WikiLeaks almost, I guess, or we're going to try to the best we can. But we're going to be talking about information that WikiLeaks released about information from basically one of their releases back in 2008, 2009.
Yeah,
we're going to the vault.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and this is something we're just trying out. Like, if you guys like this idea, this is just kind of like our way of trying to. Sometimes with guests we get distracted and we don't always get to some of the stuff we'd like to deep dive into. So this will give us a chance to do that. So if this is something you guys are into and want us to continue, let us know. Because I think it's going to be kind of neat that we can, really dig into some stuff that we don't always get time to like really jump into. So yeah, you're stuck with just us. Sorry, guys.
Forever. Ever.
That's a little creepy, dude. I'm a little weirded out now. All right, Andrew, are you going to keep us on track? So what are we doing first, homie?
What are we doing first? Do we want to do the Vault 7 first, or do we want to do the CIA station warrant affidavit first?
No, let's save that one and start with the Vault 7 leaker.
Yeah, I think that's that's definitely
Yeah.
something that we need to flesh out.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that's also, it's going on in real time. It's happening right now. It's something that you don't really hear many people discuss.
And it's certainly relevant to what's happening to Julian, or what will happen to Julian for sure. Okay, so are we? Who do we have it up? Are we bringing
Yeah,
it up?
yeah, I got the
Okay.
screen shared up.
Okay, who wants to start?
I got it. The United States Justice Department is attempting to foil former CIA engineer Joshua Schultz's challenge to his harsh confinement conditions at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. MCC is where Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself, if you remember correctly. Your notorious prisons in the United States of America. I guess the MCC isn't a prison, but at any rate, Assistant U.S. Attorney General Charles Jacob argued in a letter to a federal judge the court lacks jurisdiction to resolve this petition in the context of this criminal case. Prosecutors maintain MCC warden Marty Licon Vital really should be the target of any habeas petition or complaint, but Licon Vital cannot be named as a defendant effectively. If accepted by the court, this means Schultz would have to pursue a civil lawsuit against prison administrators while at the same time preparing for the Justice Department to try him on Espionage Act charges that a jury deadlocked on last March. He already has public defenders and definitely could not afford to hire an attorney to argue his constitutional rights are being violated. Schultz was accused of leaking the Vault 7 files to WikiLeaks and charged with 13 offenses, including 4 counts of violating the Espionage Act in June of 2018. The files Schultz allegedly released brought scrutiny to the CIA's hacking arsenal, which targeted smartphones and computers. A program called Weeping Angel that allowed the CIA to attack Samsung F8000 TVs and convert them into spying devices was exposed. They also showed how the CIA targeted Microsoft Windows as well as Signal and WhatsApp users with malware. Lawyer Sabrina Schroff, according to Matthew Russell Lee of Inner City Press, opened Schultz's trial by maintaining the CIA did not want these documents published, and the CIA had no idea how they were leaked. They also do not know when, why, or who leaked the documents. Do you want to pause here for a moment and kind of talk about all of this mayhem? Go ahead, comrade.
Well, there's a lot kind of to unpack here. You know, first of all, my favorite thing to mention about Vault 7 is the fact that Julian Assange and WikiLeaks released these when he was already like public enemy number one, had been years in the embassy, was facing untold misery that he's now experiencing, and they still did it.
Russiagate.
Yes, and they still release this shit. Like I can't imagine. Can you imagine being Julian Assange and knowing that you're already, like the Five Eyes are all coming for you, and then you release Vault 7 any damn way? Like that's a pretty impressive thing to me anyways. But yeah, I think that this is just, I mean, the Espionage Act has got to go, you guys. I mean, it really does. This is, I don't know if it could be more obvious at this point. Like this guy is, special administrative measures. Like this just proves everything that we've been yelling about. And this is exactly what's going to happen to Julian. And
these are the conditions, and because it's not wrong, right? These are the conditions the judge talks about when she says that it's completely inhuman, essentially, that like you can't send people there because of those terrible, terrible torture methods.
And again, this is him waiting to go to court. This is the Manhattan Correctional Center. This is not prison. Mm-hmm. This is essentially the same type of building, the same facility as the Alexandria Detention Center where Chelsea Manning was, where Jeremy Hammond got dragged off to for a while they were like, hey, let's just torture anyone we can until we can get someone to help us put together this next superseding indictment. And it's where Julian Assange would be waiting to go to espionage court. So the overall structure and the same types of services or lack thereof, and the same format for special administrative measures exist in both of these facilities. So this is torture before he goes to get more torture if he's convicted being a whistleblower.
Yeah.
Again, under the Espionage Act, which is, and those are only 4 of his 13 charges.
Well, and can we talk about what was exposed here? Like, I mean, targeting our smartphones and our computers, and turning literally all of our devices into spying devices for the intelligence community.
They used to try to take your keys away if you told them the CIA was listening to you through your TV.
Yes. And now we know that is legitimately what's happening. They are listening to you through your TV, through your smartphone. I mean, we've all experienced it where you, like, for example, one time my husband was talking about going to see a chiropractor, and then he logged onto Facebook and was inundated with ads for chiropractors. And we've all experienced something like that, where you say something out loud and then you get on social media and all of a sudden that's all you see. And, everybody thought that if you talked about this, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, that you were a nutbag, like you were this conspiratorial tinfoil hat wearing lunatic. And WikiLeaks just showed us that it's all happening. All of that stuff is happening. You are being spied on constantly, all the time. That's intense.
Yep. And these leaks happened, and the CIA said they had no idea who did it. They had no idea how this information got out. Meanwhile, they're prosecuting this guy for it with no actual, like, by their own admission, we're not sure how it happened. So it's just the level of bullshit in this case is just fucking intense.
Yeah. It seems to be like a running theme through Julian's case, Craig Murray's case, this case, David McBride's case. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's, it's kind of a pattern at this point, right? Shall we continue?
Yeah, I was
Certainly.
Where were we? I don't even. I scrolled.
We were. Shaw further suggested the CIA felt pressure to blame someone, and Schultz was an easy target. All they know is WikiLeaks published the information on March 7th, 2017. In October 2018, Attorney General William Barr, yet another gigantic blob of satanic jello, imposed special administrative measures, SAMs, on Schultz. The complaint alleges the prison has imposed additional arbitrary punishment that was not authorized. MCC's treatment of pretrial detainees is truly abhorrent, unconscionable, cruel, and unusual punishment, the complaint declares. SAM's inmates are locked in concrete boxes the size of parking spaces with purposefully obstructed views of outside. The cages are filthy and infested with rodents, rodent droppings, cockroaches, and mold. There is no heating or air conditioning in the cages. There is no functioning plumbing. The lights burn brightly 24 hours a day. The inmates are denied outside recreation, normal commissary, normal visitation, access to books and legal material, medical care, and dental care. The complaint adds, all attorney-client privilege is also void due to SAM's inmates as the prison confiscates, opens, and reads all legal mail. Inmates are forbidden from transferring legal material to and from their attorneys. Schultz is allegedly denied proper heating and air conditioning, and the cells in 10 South, the SAMS unit, lack insulation. This means he wears 4 sets of clothing, 5 sets of socks, a sweatshirt and sweatpants, 2 blankets, 3 sets of socks on his hands, and still freezes when the temperature in his cell plummets below freezing and water literally freezes in his cell.
So real quick, what is the difference between this and what Julian's going through right now in Belmarsh prison?
You maybe get somebody to piss in your tea when they serve it in London?
Yeah, like they literally had the heat turned off in his prison. If he's going to meet with his lawyers because of coronavirus restrictions, he has to do it over a private corporation's cloud video platform, right?
Yeah.
Provided by the prison, not even provided by his own people, right? So he's literally under special administrative measures in British prisons. They just don't have a term for it. They call it the coronavirus. So yeah. It's just crazy to me to see like the ground essentially that people are willing to give, especially in the United Kingdom. with the coronavirus, and how it allows them to literally turn this situation that he's in into a special administrative lockdown inside the United Kingdom.
Yeah, and it only gets worse, really, as, like, I mean, this dude's also got health issues, and I mean, I don't know, are they surrounding him with COVID patients? Maybe that's the only difference. I mean, I don't know. You know, like, they're surrounding Julian with COVID patients, so maybe maybe there's the difference. It's insane, like, what this is allowed. Like, this is a thing that people just accept, like, in a civilized society, that, you know, this is a thing that is legal to treat people like this. That's mind-boggling to me. I mean, even like the worst of the worst.
But then we'll have people say that they've had trauma. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just in like the darkest sense, like, this is trauma. Like, him having to not even be able to be proven to be the whistleblower going through insufferable torture. Like, that's literally a war crime. That's, at that point, just collective punishment. Like, just pick someone from the crowd and burn them at the stake. Lock them in a room where water freezes on the floor because we don't know who actually did it.
Yeah. Well, and it's the level of depravity that it takes to treat human beings like this, for telling the truth, is interesting and sad and depressing and infuriating. What can you do?
Organized.
Shall we continue with this sunshine and rainbows?
For sure. The warden and MCC staff, the complaint argues, are aware and indifferent to this barbaric torture. Schultz has not been outside in over 2 years because there is no outside recreation available to Sam's detainees. He cannot even see the world outside his cell because the windows are blacked out. Despite Mr. Schultz's congenital heart issues and ongoing cardiologist appointments, he has not seen a doctor since his trial in February 2020. Additionally, Mr. Schultz has not once seen a dentist at MCC. When 10 South inmates are moved, they must be shackled from head to toe like Hannibal, the complaint states. Schultz is handcuffed, belly chained, and foot cuffed, even though he has never been accused of violence or committing disciplinary infractions. The FBI intercepts Schultz's mail in order to prevent the alleged dissemination of classified information. Yet it is impossible for Schultz to transmit classified information by receiving mail, especially court mail. Schultz's lawyers contend the mail interception is arbitrarily imposed in violation of the Fifth Amendment. This court should modify SAMS and issue an order preventing the FBI from intercepting or reading any incoming mail to Mr. Schultz. All of the alleged violations of his constitutional rights under the Eighth Amendment are practically impossible for Schultz to challenge through the administrative remedy process supposedly available to prisoners. I'm going to pause here for a moment too. This goes back to and directly relates to the ruling issued by the concierge to the U.S. State Department, Vanessa Breitzer there. And it also flies in the face of the expert that the prosecution called. One of the only two expert witnesses that the prosecution called throughout the entire month-long testimony. And this guy, Nigel Blackwood or something like that, he was the one who him and Assistant Attorney General Kronberg in his 183-page Luke Harding fan fiction that he wrote and slapped the title superseding indictment on top of. Between him and Blackwood, they painted this picture of U.S. prisons as this sort of paradise. And this remedy process to Sam's, because it was discussed at length in the witness testimony of his hearing, the remedy process itself was a guaranteed way for a prisoner under special administrative measures to address any grievances that they had, and there were people who were ready to hear these things and they were ready to work with them immediately. And this, of course, is bullshit.
And let's not forget too that the U.S. argued in Julian's trial that if you have shared this information, anything classified on social media, you're in violation of the Espionage Act as well. So these special administrative measures that Schultz is facing is something that massive communities of people will be affected by, but no one is even raising the alarm, and I feel like the way is necessary about this, because this is literally normal people that can just be arrested, detained on platforms that are designed to be searchable by intelligence communities.
Well, I mean, this has been what they've been slow walking us into for a long time. I'm over the past, definitely since Obama. I mean, it's really been going on for decades, but Obama really ramped up this kind of attack on, I don't know, truth, you know, and it's only getting worse. And I know everybody likes to talk about how terrible Trump is, and yeah, he's a complete douche canoe, but Joe Biden is going to be unbelievably worse on censorship and, you know, cracking down on dissent, and it's going to get really bad. It's already getting really bad. I mean, we're seeing it over. Graham Elwood today, I think, monetization was taken away. Jordan Chariton was censored again. Ford Fisher had one of his videos taken down that literally just showed, so when Trump was giving his speech on January 6th, he didn't even show Trump. Like, he, for like a different perspective, decided to just film the crowd and kind of their reaction as he was speaking. They took it down and said that it was spreading misinformation about an election or something, you know, how they do. You know, the Socialist Equality Party was censored on Facebook, and I mean, it's snowballing, and they're doing a really good job of like henpecking at it, like taking down little bits at a time. But I think it's going to explode. I think it's the attempts at censorship and complete narrative control are just going to explode under Joe Biden. I mean, I wish I was wrong, but I don't think I am.
No, I mean, we've already seen it. And then the thing I'm worried about is, as people bring information forward, are we going to, because Donald Trump, in his 4 years, I believe this was cited actually in Julian's case, prosecuted more people under the Espionage Act than President Obama did, who previously did it more than anyone else in history. So what I'm worried about is seeing that step up more and having that span be able to grow to maybe even just intention. Like, maybe someone reaches out to a journalist and says, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. And like, that's horrifying to me. Mm-hmm. Because everything up to intention at this point has been criminalized. Like, even just sharing it and receiving it has been criminalized by this, by Julian's prosecution, and accepted by the UK courts in their no extradition ruling.
Yes. That's what's terrifying, is they 100% co-signed all of the bullshit that the prosecution put forth. And then when you see what they're doing to Craig Murray, and, you know, it's I mean, if you follow like Reporters Without Borders, just watching the escalation and the immense number of attacks on journalism around the globe, it's terrifying. It's like a worldwide attack. And like I say all the time, the First Amendment is being destroyed in broad daylight right now. It's happening.
To watch it downplayed at the World Economic Forum in their press freedom panel at their week at Davos was nauseating. Oh my God. Like, you should go watch the entire thing just so you can hear 4 people who are mid-level narrative managers calmly discussing how best to go about filtering and censoring and managing the narrative. It is frightening. I mean, it's also vomit-inducing and it's rage-inducing, and it will, it will make you want to go find the guy who's trying to ruin fedoras, and like, I don't know, kind of
I know.
mash his face into the gravel for a while. Roll it around a little bit. Get some nice lime juice. You ruined fedoras, you assholes. But no, I mean, it is. Throughout this entire panel, one time, does the Forbes schmuck bring up attacks on journalists and how journalists are, more targeted than ever now, without mentioning Julian Assange, without mentioning Craig Murray, without mentioning any of the journalists who have actually come under it or are currently being tortured. None of that whatsoever.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like, I need my soul smudged after watching all of those videos.
Word. Eat bugs and like it, Steve.
You will eat bugs and you will like it.
He's so creepy. He's like the ultimate supervillain.
Really is. It's like Skeletor and Hitler had a baby. Named it Klaus.
Oh my god, that's so good.
That is pretty good.
That visual is quite wonderful.
It is. Somebody needs to like create that baby, like visually for me. I need to see it.
You got to at least
I
put out
mean,
a tweet.
we're really not that far off with like what Klaus Schwab already brings to the table. We're really not. Like, anyone who is, cleverer than me, at least in terms of graphics and Photoshop and shit like that, would have to do. All they would have to do is grab this picture and just sort of like melt in a skeleton and perhaps a hood.
Is that like the Davos garb? Yeah.
He's a supervillain costume, man. I'm telling you, this dude is a supervillain. Look at him.
I'm pretty sure he dresses like that because it's Tuesday.
like
that should frighten everybody more than the actual costume.
Yeah. Because like I dress creepy sometimes, but that's for fun. That's not like for daily life.
Okay, we don't need to hear about that, Andrew.
Time to go procure some groceries.
Listen, I'm not here to kink shame, homie.
That's fair. That's fair.
We must control the world's supply of meat.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Ugh. So creepy.
Oh, and by the way, this now the show will get the QAnon tag on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, or if you saw or if you heard, but we did a show on Sunday where we talked about the week at Davos, and we showed clips from it, and we discussed it, and that show got hit with a Wikipedia warning about QAnon, a content warning.
Do you remember the first rule of high school? We have an echo.
I did hear the echo.
Yeah, I did too. Just now.
I'm blaming Josh.
It ain't me.
I have no reason to blame Josh, but
yeah, let's blame the tech ninja.
Let's blame Kevin, because every one of us is echoing, so it can't be any of us.
Yeah, I don't.
Damn you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Unless two of us are echoing, but no one's chat box. Either way.
At any rate, so I think that just discussing what the WEF or putting it in the title or putting anything related to like the Great Reset in the title of your video will automatically get it the QAnon content warning.
Well, yeah, because you were on. I just talked about this with Franco. Jesse and I just interviewed Franco, and you were on Convo Couch, and even their video got a QAnon warning. So I think maybe I asked, like, are you Q, Steve? I'm asking you now, live on camera. Are you Q?
No.
No? Maybe
No.
they just think you are. I don't know. But it seems to be you, dude. Every video you're in seems to get labeled as Q.
I do not make nearly enough money to be able to claim with any sort of credibility that I could be involved in that nonsense in any way, shape, or form, other than to be like, hey, that's a psychological operation and you should not wrap your life in it.
Oh.
Yeah. Russiagate for gun owners.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up.
All right. Should we finish this article, fam?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Look, see, I did a good job keeping us on track.
Well done. All of the alleged violations did that. First, MCC did not reply in a timely manner, so Scholl appealed to a regional office. That regional office claimed he failed to file at the institutional level, even though he was cleared to appeal because the MCC had not responded to his grievance within 20 days. This regional office also disqualified his complaint because it was not written in ballpoint pen. Schultz is banned from using pens. Schultz appealed to the central office, which is
real quick. How ridiculous is
hierarchy.
That? Like, how insane? Like, I just want to say that. You can continue, but that's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, you see, we can't let him out because we haven't charged him with anything. So, any space.
Oh, fuck.
Scholl appealed to the central office, which is next in the bureaucratic hierarchy. He received similar denials. On top of that, the prison apparently has an informal resolution process that prisoners like Scholl are required to go through before they can formally complain. Scholl has 17 outstanding forms submitted through this process. He is not to be given a form that allows him to pursue an administrative remedy unless the prison replies to these forms. The warden limits prisoners' ability to formally file requests, and as a result, Schultz's lawyers insist this is in violation of the Prison Litigation Reform Act. Prisoners in 10 South are quote, often forced to urinate and defecate in plastic bags. During visitation, inmates are moved to a 6-by-6 foot cage. Instead of taking the inmate back to his cage after visitation, as would be logical, solitary housing unit lieutenants take the visitors back first. It can be anywhere from 5 to 7 hours before the lieutenants return, which means prisoners must go to the bathroom in a plastic bag they were given. Systematic abuse and mistreatment of Sam's prisoners played a decisive role in District Judge Vanessa Breiter's decision to deny the U.S. government's extradition request against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. He would likely be placed under the kind of restrictions Schultz has faced if the U.S. prevailed and brought him to the country for trial on Espionage Act charges. Even more troubling, Schultz already went to trial once. A jury did not convict, yet because the Justice Department is responsible for his SAMS designation and they have not given up on their leak prosecution, the cruelty is not abated. It is barbaric and inhumane to lock human beings into boxes for years and years, the complaint concludes. It is a punishment worse than death, and there is no wonder that MCC inmates would rather kill themselves than continue to live in absolute oppression. No matter what crime an individual is alleged to have committed, the United States Constitution grants all a presumption of innocence. Indeed, no American wants to be treated like a caged animal if accused of a crime, dependent, deserted, dehumanized, demoralized, and detained.
So Julian talked a lot about the national security state and about a nation within a nation and about laws that are outside of other laws. And that's what this is. This is the national security state. This is a functioning body of laws and legal system independent from accountability of anyone, of anything, anywhere, right? All because of classified information and national security.
National security.
And this is the state that they are trying to bring forth and impose on everyone. Like,
Yeah, that's what they're doing right now. That's what this is all about. This is manufacturing consent for this, for all of us. I mean, I don't know how many times and how. This is what's frustrating is I wish I knew the words to get people to understand what this is. It's really frustrating to me that I can't find the way to say it, to articulate it, to get people to recognize.
There is no words. We don't, in the English language, I've realized we don't have words to describe situations like this. And we especially don't have words to accurately describe the motherfuckers that impose shit like this on people. And also, we don't have words to describe the people that literally have to give someone a bag while they're in a cage for 7 hours to go to the bathroom in. Like, we don't have a word for that person.
Which is why Rebecca Vincent uses words like worrying when she describes the absolutely mind-blowing, numbing, the just soul-numbing information and treatment, the information about the treatment of journalists that have been going on. So she uses a word like worrying, which, sounds, oh, maybe I should check to see what's going on there. Because if she actually told you what was going on, you would shut down. Like, it wouldn't process, and you'd be like, I wonder how the Blackhawks did.
What time does The Bachelor start?
Right?
But I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, as scary as it is.
No, that's why I'm saying it. I don't.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Shit just to hear the sound of my own voice.
Yeah, it's not like we don't have it on the show doc, but you want to talk about that article that she linked to for what's happening in that prison in the UK? Do you want to talk about that for a minute, maybe?
I don't have it open or anything.
I have it. I just pulled up the Twitter thread where she was talking about the censorship thing. But this is something we've talked about on the Vigil a couple times. There's a
great thread, though.
It is. Do you want to go through the thread first? Because we can start there.
Read the thread down, sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not signed in, so there might be a big ass sign in here thing, but it might be underneath it.
Oh, you're fucking fired, man.
I'm great at my job. Browser, I'm sorry.
Worrying few days for UK press freedom. Worrying. Yeah, with the guy in the freaking Tyvek suit with a jackhammer on a grave. Yeah, worrying. That looks like a wonderful. That looks like fun.
Yeah.
Like to do like the orchestrate that protest. That looks like a ball. You guys, we're gonna have a really fun time in DC on St. Patrick's Day. You should be there for it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Come hang out with us.
Are you gonna scroll down? There you go.
There we go. Sorry.
On Friday, Government Equalities Minister Kimi Badenoch triggered a flood of abuse and threats against HuffPo reporter. Will you please stop that?
I'm sorry.
Just pick one.
I'm trying to get it right. I apologize.
Threats against HuffPo UK reporter Nadine Wright by smearing her in an 8-part Twitter thread simply for doing her job by asking a question in the public interest. This comes just a week after Government Minister Nadeem Zahawi I think, Nadeem Sahawi, and other Tory MPs attacked Yorkshire Post and Robin Venner for their accurate public interest reporting on COVID jabs being diverted to other regions. Yeah, they found out that they were diverting the actual supply of COVID vaccines to wealthier neighborhoods.
Oh, look, she's worrying again.
To everyone's surprise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. These are only the latest developments in a worrying trend that Reporters Without Borders highlighted last year of increasingly aggressive behavior by UK government officials and departments in an attempt to discredit reporting that doesn't toe the official line. Huh. Much of this is backlash to critical reporting on the government's COVID response. These stories are clearly in the public's interest to impact public health. Attempting to undermine or silence such reporting violates the rights to freedom of expression and information. This comes as against a worrying backdrop of longer-term issues such as the detention of Julian Assange, a clampdown on freedom of information, and threats to the safety of journalists in Northern Ireland, which continue to mar the UK's press freedom record. Well, yeah, it should have made them plummet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is not just in the UK. Like, this is happening all across the globe. Like, journalism is on like full frontal attacks everywhere, all over the place, and it's like increasing, getting worse. It's I mean, we've seen what's been happening in the United States. Like, you know, we have the First Amendment, and journalists who are covering protests are getting beaten and pepper sprayed and shot with rubber bullets and arrested and detained and kidnapped. And I mean, you guys, this is bad. It's bad. It really is.
Yeah, when people talk about like, oh, we're in, you know, the empire is on the brink of collapse and all. No, we're in free fall currently. This is what it looks like when you've got homeless zoos that take up more of your downtown than there are employees in the buildings in your downtown. That's what an empire in the middle of full decline looks like.
Yes.
Or the rise of a techno-totalitarian state.
Right, which is shifting the dynamic on an empire significantly, relocating Rome and subjugating anew.
Yep.
Oh God, we're so fucked.
Kind of makes you feel like river dancing. No.
Oh, we're like a bundle of joy tonight. I'm sorry, guys.
No. How are you guys liking the deep dive streams? Is all the gloom and doom doing it for everybody? We need to find happy articles.
Yeah, come on, the shit that we cover. There's no such thing, Andrew.
Baby otters and twerk videos.
We should do just like a throwaway episode of just like cute cats and baby otters, and like maybe have Krish Mohan on to make us laugh. You know, something like that.
The embassy cat vigil. That's what that should be.
Huh?
We'll do the embassy cat vigil. And that'll just be like an ode to the one time we're not super dark and gloomy.
Yeah. Ugh. How do we all manage, you guys?
Dramatically.
Dark sense of humor.
Right?
And each other.
It is that sweet gallows humor. That's what does it.
And the fact that we all found each other and we all get each other, and we don't have to suffer alone in our madness.
Just in our minds.
Right. Ugh. We suck tonight. We suck tonight. I feel like we should like formally apologize to our audience for the depression that we just induced.
Oh, it's fun. Oh, do we want to do speaking of good, happy stuff, do we want to do the Nobel Prize article?
Okay, that is actually kind of.
It is.
I mean, that's better for sure. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Way to go, Andrew. Look at you, keeping us on track again.
I'm just glad you guys haven't made me read yet. That's all I'm happy about.
You've read.
I mean, a little bit.
Yeah. I haven't read anything. You've read more than I have tonight. How about that?
Boom.
Oh, it must be Misty's turn.
Oh, fuck me. Why did I do that?
You did that your damn self.
Way to volunteer, Misty. That was awful nice of you.
This is what happens when your mouth goes faster than your like ability to filter. You know, I don't have a filter, and so shit just flies out before I have time to process how dumb I am. You know.
Oh, I'm so like cracking up over here. That was great.
There you go. There's your little humor for tonight,
Well,
bitches.
there we go.
All right, is it up?
It's up.
All right, here we go. All right. In the United Kingdom, court decision sparing WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange from extradition to the United States for now pending appeal. The intimately symbiotic relationship between humanitarianism and violence was evident once again. Judge Vanessa Breitzer ruled that it would be, quote, oppressive to extradite Assange, but not because of the injustice of the U.S. government's campaign of retribution against him for exposing its massacres, misrepresentations, and manipulations, but rather due to the fragility of Assange's mental health. The same justice system, quote, justice system that has eviscerated Assange's mental well-being with prolonged psychological torture and the assessment of the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture now poses as his hope for salvation. Like a large-scale governmental version of Munchausen's by proxy, the state mystifies its own role in producing the pathology in question, then attempts to extract moral capital from exhibiting a modicum of care. Structural violence creates the need for humanitarianism, which mitigates some of the excesses of violence, ensuring the flourishing of both violence and humanitarianism. Judge Breitzer not only declined to find that the U.S.'s prosecution of Assange is for political offenses and therefore barred by the UK-US extradition treaty, but held that there is no judicially enforceable barrier against political extraditions at all. Quote, the defense has not established that the UK-US treaty confers rights on Mr. Assange, which are enforceable in this court. Since the treaty is, quote, not yet incorporated into domestic law, perversely, according to this judgment, Assange and other extradition targets are subject to the treaty, but precluded from invoking its protections.
Which, just to comment.
Yeah, I was going to say, do we need to kind of break that down a little?
Yeah, because that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
That's the same, essentially, legal framework that's being used to allow this prosecution to move forward that the judge accepted, to where the U.S. said, well, you know, he's Australian, so he doesn't get First Amendment protections. It's only the national security state that's prosecuting him. It's only this set of domestic U.S. policy that says he broke laws. It's not the Constitution. It's this other entity.
Right. Well, it's we've said this from the beginning. It's always been super interesting to me that he is subject to our laws, but has no protection. Does that make sense? Like, you know, he has no First Amendment protections, but, you know, he can somehow be charged under the Espionage Act and, you know, treated as a traitor of some kind when he's not even from this country. WikiLeaks is not a U.S. company or publishing organization. So it's, you know, they want to have their cake and eat it too. It's like they just want the ability to do whatever they want, but I don't know. I'm rambling. I don't even know if I'm making any sense at this point. I'm so tired right now, you guys. Oh, I should qualify this by saying that this is like hour number 6 today in front of a camera for me. So I'm a little out of it.
You're a hero. You do great work.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Shameless self-plug. What? Facts on the ground at Sarcasm Stardust. Claiming your thing.
Oh, yes. And can I actually brag a little bit? So today I got to interview, this is totally off topic, but I'm like super pumped about it. Today I got to interview Jeffrey Haas, who is a former Black Panther attorney. And he's the guy that did like the decade-long lawsuit after Fred Hampton's murder. He's the guy that wrote the assassination of Fred Hampton. So we got to interview him today. That'll be published soon. And it was super cool. Like, I fangirled a little bit at the end. I like held it in check for the most part, but like I'm a longtime fan of this dude, and he's amazing. So I can't wait for you guys to see that. Seriously, so cool. So yes, I've been sitting in front of a camera all day, but like for totally cool stuff. So I really shouldn't complain about it. But yeah, should I continue? Or hey, Steve, why don't you take over? Or Andrew, since you haven't read very much tonight. Somebody else besides me, read.
The fact that Assange revealed damning truths about state atrocities that would otherwise have remained concealed was also dismissed as irrelevant. The defense have not established that the principle to the right or of the right of truth is a legal rule that is recognized in either international or domestic law. Interesting. There's no right to truth anywhere. That was never codified by anyone. Probably just assumed we'd all agree that we didn't need to have it written down anywhere, that the fundamental right to the truth was just sort of, but no, whoops. The defense of necessity was similarly discarded. Assange has not provided evidence of any individual incident which was going to create a danger to members of the public, which his disclosure was designed to avoid. I think we could argue that. U.S. allegations that WikiLeaks endangered the lives of U.S. military informants, in contrast, were accepted as reality despite the absence of evidence. In a remarkable feat of guilt transfusion, it is not the U.S. military, but Julian Assange, who is inculpated for having blood on his hands. Having stripped away all of Assange's defenses, the court left him with no shield against extradition other than his own pathologization. Why would anyone write that word? Why is that a word? Continuing the long tradition of depoliticizing claims for justice by reframing them as issues of the claimant's mental illness. Judge Veratzer concluded that exposing Assange to the torture of U.S. super maximum security imprisonment under special administrative measures characterized by intensive solitary confinement and sensory deprivation would create a serious risk of suicide. She located the underlying problem, however, not in the pathologies of the U.S. carceral system, but in the dark recesses of Assange's psyche. Whilst the imminence of extradition or extradition itself would trigger the suicide attempt, this would not be its cause. It would be Mr. Assange's mental disorder that would lead to an inability to control his wish to commit suicide. In some quarters, this decision has been hailed as a takedown of U.S. mass incarceration, but in fact, the carving out of such humanitarian exceptions has proven to be perfectly compatible with the entrenchment of carceral rule. Reform efforts targeting protected. What the fuck did you just do to me?
Sorry, real quick. I wanted to just talk about one of the.
You don't tell a gal, you just pull something like that.
I was muted. I was trying to do both at the same time. I had to pick one first. I made a bad choice. But for real though, the judge in her thing ordered his release and said all of these things, like regardless of the reality, that is what the judge accepted. And as we mentioned literally like 10 minutes ago, they're doing those same conditions. Those conditions imposed by SAMS are the same, if not worse. Not that he should be sent to the US to have them imposed on him, right? But that he should be released from the United Kingdom, because it's the same thing. If he went 6 months without talking to his attorney, 6 months. 6 months without speaking to a lawyer at all. That's crazy. And that wasn't of his own volition. Like it's just far and away beyond like or equal to, I guess would be the right way to word it. What would happen to him here in the US, if not worse. So it just drives me crazy to see it framed in that way, and then have her, Vanessa Breitzer, deny him bail while keeping him in the same conditions.
That infuriates me.
Yeah.
That infuriates me. That doesn't even make any sense. But it's the same thing as them saying that, oh, we can't release him because we never charged him with anything. It's completely nonsensical. It is ridiculous. And here we are. Here we are. This is just normal. Like, this is like totally acceptable for everybody. We live in a cartoon.
I keep hearing that.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from though. It's like one of those things that no one knows who started it.
Absolute genius, I'd wager.
A real mega
Nobel
brain.
Peace Prize. Somebody should give that guy a Nobel Peace Prize.
Do we want to jump back into this? Or do we want to?
No.
Do we? Yeah, because it's long. Do we want to move on to the? What is it?
Well, did you want to do the Stella?
We can do that, or we got about an hour. We could do the actual leak itself. From
Do you have a
2008.
letter writing campaign that you're helping to coordinate, Misty? That you
I
would
do.
like to talk about?
Yeah, we can talk about that right now. So, okay, every Monday, we have, well, this past Monday was our second week, so it's very new. But for the past 2 Mondays, we've written to Joe Biden. Just like really brief, few paragraphs, just explaining why he needs to drop the case, free Assange, pardon Assange, whatever the fuck we have to do to get him out of there. So yeah, we've been writing to Joe Biden. And then this past week, we also added a letter to Julian. I've been tweeting about it. See if you need the addresses or whatever. We also have a couple of group DMs, which I'm really terrible about managing. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I didn't need another project. It kind of got dumped in my lap. I'm really doing the best that I can, trying to like keep it together. But I'm, not doing a great job right now. So bear with me. I'm still trying to figure it out. There's a Discord that I absolutely do not check. I'm terrible at that too. I'm trying. I really am. I'm trying to get better. So yeah, we're just doing letter writing campaign every Monday. We're going to branch out once we get like an actual, cabinet, like a Joe Biden, like all of the appointees are, settled and we know who we're talking to, like who we need to be talking to. We'll branch out a little bit more. We also want to eventually start, adding in, people from the UK, people from Australia, so yeah, it's just like every Monday we're going to write to, a couple different people en masse and try to, do some public pressure stuff that way. Super easy way for you guys to participate. I can help you get started. We have like a lot of people have been posting the stuff that they've been writing. It gives people kind of a place to start from if you're not really sure like how to go about writing a letter like that. Stella gave us, I contacted Stella and asked her like what kind of messaging she wanted us to focus on. So I have some of the bullet points that she gave us that she would like to see us include. And then if you're going to write to Julian, if you have participated in or organized any events or any kind of campaign, or if you went around your town and posted flyers, or if you, whatever you do, he likes to receive, if you have pictures of whatever action that you did or participated in, you can, you can't send him like photos, like photo paper, but you can print out photos on like regular printer paper and send them to him that way. So he likes to receive that kind of stuff. So yeah, just every Monday we're going to be writing to somebody. So if you want to jump in on that, you can contact me on Twitter and I'll try to get you into a group somewhere. I really am, like, it's really disorganized right now. So, I'm trying to get it like sorted out, but yeah.
So if you like letters and you have organizational skills and you have free time,
help me.
I actually have an old lady friend I can try to get you in contact with. She writes to prisoners. She's part of a couple different letter writing groups. If you want a old lady guidance.
shout out to the Convo Couch in the chat.
Convo.
Super chat. Free Assange is why we're against censorship, unlike some charlatans.
Oh, and okay, so
And
they
Rob,
also
do you
said-
know? Rob threw Sleepy Josh some coffee or tasty or adult beverage money, should he prefer it.
Oh, Franco's in the chat too. Hi, Franco.
Frank
And
great
People
show.
Are Power says nobody's listening to me, so I guess I should stop talking. But Combo Couch also said that me and Fee need to do a true crime podcast, and yes, we do. I proposed that idea to them on their live stream earlier via the Rockfin. Everybody should go to the Rockfin and check out all of our shows on the Rockfin. Yes,
I'm gonna do a show where I make pasta try and learn how to do man things.
So So there's someone in the chat, Robert Justin, that says Assange is controlled opposition. Wake up, sheep. He's a honey trap, just like Snowden. You people believe everything you see on TV. It's pathetic.
Ooh, did we get a Sans troll tonight?
On TV of Julian Assange, that nonstop wall-to-wall coverage that we have seen of Julian's, of the torture that he's been through, and the 24 hours a day of isolation that he said, that is just, my God, you can't even.
They won't shut up about it.
Dude, I get bombarded with ads on my Twitter feed.
Didn't you see the truck? The banner truck? Didn't you see that? Totally no. That's
the one that we fundraised for?
Right. Yeah. For like that 2 days. One. That one, yeah.
Yeah,
but
that one.
On some real shit though, right? People, even if you believe that, not that it's correct, but right, you can be wrong. It's America. Why should someone that is controlled opposition's court trial remove our right to classified information?
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't the argument's still the same, no matter what.
They're still destroying your First Amendment rights through Assange. So no.
And I just wanted to get that out there because you hear that not very often, but from some people that say it at nauseum. Yeah. So I feel like it's worth addressing every once in a while.
It's not really worth addressing, but
it's not. But
it's really not. But there you have it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just going to shut up now because I'm, I'll say some mean stuff eventually. You know how I am.
Do you want to intro this leak, Steve? We can talk about that.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I thought it would be interesting, if not fun or pleasant, to go through the history of WikiLeaks drops by date and to see if any lined up on or close to the night of a vigil. So when we were talking about doing this in our pre-production meeting,
where we write the script,
where we
that didn't turn into a document until 7:30.
Carefully etch out everything that we're going to say. Each and every sentence, carefully scripted.
We need better writers.
I found out that yesterday, in 2009, there was the first U.S.-based WikiLeaks drop that related to what was then the Obama-Biden administration. So we're 12 years removed from that. With the Delaware daughter sniffer himself, Gropey Joe Biden, sort of occupying the chair in the Oval Office, keeping it warm for Camilleri and Raytheon and L3 Communications and Northrop Grumman and all the wonderful defense contractors that we all work hard for. Give taxes to. At any rate, this particular leak was the unredacted affidavit and warrant for a CIA station chief who was just a horribly disgusting human piece of filth. So that's what we're going to go into.
I'm putting the link in chats for everybody to the actual WikiLeaks documents themselves.
Or sunshine and rainbows.
I had some trouble downloading it. I don't know if other people will. It might just be my technological ineptness. But I put the link into chat. I'm putting it into yours right now, Steve. Do you want me to pull this up on screen?
Yes.
Sure.
Do you want the ABC article or do you want the actual leak itself? Because there's an associated ABC article that they released a redacted version, and then WikiLeaks brought out the unredacted one.
And shout out to everybody watching on the Rockfin. If you're watching on YouTube right now and you haven't made your free Rockfin account, you should really go do that. That's where we're going to be when YouTube yanks us from their platform. Slow News Day is over there. If you endorse the show for $9.99 a month, you get everybody's premium content, including Misty's. Facts on the Ground is over there. Combo Couch, Frank Analysis, Nico House,
all the cool kids.
Richie Medhurst, Jason Burmis, Whitney Webb. By the way, the Unlimited Hangout podcast is now the Unlimited Hangout live stream, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Be talking to either her or her other half this week.
Every time she does a show, Whitney, it's literally like, oh, I didn't know. Like, thank you for that piece of information. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's never a thank you. It's, oh my God, this sucks.
Oh, right. No, we could talk about it after this, but like literally the whole like GameStop thing. She was like, yeah, well, the world works this way. And you're like, oh. But do you want me to read? I can read.
Ready, set, go.
Exclusive: CIA station chief in Algeria accused of rapes. And I believe Algeria was the same country that that torture victim was dropped in, if I remember correctly, or was that Albania?
That was Albania.
Albania.
So
entirely different continent.
It is.
Starts with an A though, Steve.
January 28, 2009. The CIA stations chief at a sensitive...
I'm from Ohio. Suck it.
It's all an A to me.
Geography. Book learning. Yes, oh.
The CIA station chief at a sensitive post in Algeria is under investigation by the U.S. Justice Department for allegedly raping at least 2 Muslim women who claim he laced their drinks with knockout drugs. The U.S. law enforcement sources tell ABC News. The suspect in the case, identified as Andrew Warren, in an affidavit for a search warrant filed in federal court in Washington, D.C. by an investigator for the State Department's Diplomatic Security Service. Officials say 41-year-old Warren, converted to Islam, was ordered home by the U.S. Ambassador David Price on October after the woman came forward with rape allegations in September. According to the affidavit, 2 women reported the allegations in his affidavit independently of each other. The affidavit says the first victim says she was raped by Warren in September 2007 after being invited to a party at Warren's residence by the U.S. Embassy employees. She told the State Department investigators after Warren prepared a mixed drink of cola and whiskey, she felt violent onset of nausea, and Warren said she should spend the night at his house. When she woke up the next morning, according to the affidavit, she was laying in bed completely nude with no memory of how she had been undressed. She said she realized she recently had engaged in sexual intercourse, so she had no memory of the intercourse. According to the affidavit, a second victim told a similar story, saying Warren met her at the U.S. Embassy and invited her for a tour of his house, where he prepared an apple martini out of her sight. So we can keep going, but it's pretty dark. It's pretty heavy. Do you guys want to get into the affidavit itself, or do you want to keep going into this article?
I don't know. I think we could probably jump into the affidavit. I mean,
so
the affidavit is no less dark.
Yeah,
no.
That's why I was asking, because the one released by WikiLeaks is the completely unredacted version of it, and you can actually find that on the link I threw in the chat for everybody.
Yeah, it's not good enough. Which one are we jumping into?
According to the affidavit,
I don't have the unredacted one. Steve would have to screen share that one up.
According to the affidavit, this guy was only in the employ of the U.S. government this was released February 1st, 2009. When do they say that the actual There's no actual date for when the affidavit was signed, though. That's a bummer. But yeah, I mean, the basically, because the events that they describe in the affidavit took place in 2008. Basically, like, this dude got hired, you know, almost instantly made station chief. I feel like they might be fudging his employment record a little bit. Either that or that is just a really impressive career for a serial rapist.
It's amazing. I mean, a serial, like, look at our... We're fucked. I'll say it again.
Yeah, let me pull. I only have the redacted version because I want to point this out too because it's pretty ridiculous. We were talking about this a little bit before we started the stream today. And literally like airbrush. Like, please take note of the fact that when they redacted this document, they used like MS Paint or Photoshop airbrush. But Andrew Warren is a U.S. citizen. Since September 7, 2007, Warren had been employed by the U.S. government and assigned to the United States Embassy in Algiers, Algeria. While assigned to Algeria, Warren has resided in a house located at Airbrush. Since June 2005, Airbrush, by the United States government for the embassy employees for their residential use, who was assigned in Algeria's, and Warren used blank residence since September 2007. Because the residence is used by the United States personnel assigned to the mission in Algeria, it falls under special maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the United States. So yeah, literally dude was like, hey, I work for the government. And then they're like, okay, you're a station head. Go get him. Like, it's one of those things that, like, well, who was he working for? Who does he know?
Station chief. That's a station chief.
Station chief.
Like, that's a significant job title. We're expected to believe that guy worked for the CIA for like 18 months total before they made him a station chief.
Well, that's the revolving door of the intelligence community. All these private contractors that they literally work their way up through private ranks doing work for the CIA. Not that he was or is, because we don't actually even know that, what his other intelligence employment was.
Huh.
It's just a thought. Because, I mean, I assume you don't become station chief in a year. But, I mean, you never know. They could have a very, like, slim talent pool. You know?
For people that speak that particular dialect in Algeria.
Yeah.
I don't. That's just insane to me. I mean, I guess it's a good thing that it got reported on. You know, I mean, well, you got to wonder how many times that's happened where it hasn't been reported on. If there wasn't a WikiLeaks to leak, you know.
Right? This is why we need like thousands of WikiLeaks. You know? We need thousands of them everywhere doing this stuff all the time. People bitch like, oh, well, Julian only leaked on Hillary and didn't leak on Trump. First of all, he can only leak what he did. Second of all, okay, let's have some other WikiLeaks type organization leaking about Donald Trump. And let's have another, you know what I mean? Like, powerful people should be terrified to do anything ever. You know?
Yeah.
They should be terrified to fuck with us. That should be world.
The idea that people are currently this powerful should horrify everyone. We should, you know, get together, because that kind of power doesn't have a red team or a blue team or a partisan ideology. So we should push back against that in a post-partisan manner. And when we build a new society, we should do our best to make sure that, you know, not a small
This doesn't happen again.
individuals never achieves that sort of power ever again.
Yes. Yes. Because seriously, can we talk about that for a second? Because y'all, if you actually think that they care, and by they I mean politicians or the people that control them, if you actually think that they care about abortion or no, on war and Wall Street, they are one entity. Everything else is used to keep us fighting amongst ourselves and not paying attention to the man behind the curtain.
Oh,
They really
Pasta
don't care about
says
that
go
stuff.
Mindy.
Thanks, Pasta.
You got to go Mindy from Pasta.
Yay. I seriously think that should be like my alter ego. You know how like Beyonce has whatever, doesn't she have like some weird name for some, right? Am I making that up?
No,
I
let's
don't
go with that. Let's go with that, and we'll say it's Murphy.
Murphy?
I don't know.
Fuck, man. All right.
You would not
Anyway.
expect Beyonce's alter ego to be named Murphy, would you?
No, that's
See
true.
that?
Nope. Didn't see that coming, did you? Sneaky bitch. But yeah, that should be my alter ego. So that like I can do all the stuff I wouldn't ordinarily do under the code name of Mindy. Although there isn't much that I wouldn't do.
Right. Yeah, no, like what does that look like?
Right? That's kind of scary, actually. What would Mindy be up to?
Like randomly shovel somebody's driveway?
That should be a children's book series. Like, what would Mindy
shovel my
do?
own driveway. What?
Right, that's
A
what I'm
children's
saying.
series?
That's what I'm
Children's
saying.
book series.
Mindy
What
would
would
do
Mindy
the shit that Misty does not do. Therefore, Mindy would randomly shovel someone's driveway.
Dude, I shoveled like a quarter of it. It started raining. You really expect me to shovel the snow in the rain? No, that's not happening.
Well, the rain melts the snow, so you don't even have to shovel.
Well, and then you know how it is in Ohio.
Oh,
It starts raining and then it gets cold again, and then the snow isn't even snow anymore. It's like this weird ice slush mixture.
I haven't owned a snow shovel.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Since Bill Clinton's first term in office.
I hate the snow. I hate winter. I'm echoing. Do you guys hear that?
I probably
do have
should
that.
have when I lived in Colorado, but it really it really didn't snow that much on the ground where I lived in Colorado, and you know, it was like nobody was going to maintain the roads that we lived on when I lived in Netherlands. Like that, just you had to get on a main road before somebody took care of it. So you just didn't have a car if it didn't have 4-wheel drive.
I have a snow shovel in my car in case I have to dig myself out on the hill. It's on the other side of the warehouse.
That's Ohio. You have to carry a snow shovel in your car.
Do we want to cover the Nobel Prize stuff?
Oh, yeah. Good job, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Look, we even get distracted without guests.
We do. We're very distractible.
Well, I mean, do y'all have ADHD? Because I have an excuse.
I was never tested, but the doctor said
I'm pretty
I
sure you
had
do, though.
ADHD-like symptoms. But
I
Real
am,
recognizes real.
But I was a
recognizes
fat kid
real.
too, so I don't know.
I am impish.
To be both.
Oh boy. All right, Nobel Peace Prize, bitches. Let's do it. This is exciting, actually. This is kind of goodish news. Not
It
really,
is.
because it's not going to win, but it's still, you know, it's better than talking about like torture and shit.
Somebody want to pick it up?
Okay, Nobel Peace Prize nomination deadline is 31st of January. Nominations are themselves protective, but a win would be so politically protective it would very likely secure Julian's freedom. See thread for blah 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 blah. Okay, so this is just she's telling us who can actually nominate. So it's the university professors, members of parliament, members of government, current heads of state, and directors of peace institutes. And then she just gives a list of all of the
people able to.
Yep. And then adding to the thread, yada yada yada. Keep going. Whoa. Let's see. So this she just gives the nomination that was for Julian, Chelsea, and Ed. And then so presidential pardon application presently before Biden administration. However, Biden should simply drop the charges. So this is actually, if you guys didn't know, they do have a presidential pardon application in front of the Biden administration. Just an FYI in case you weren't aware of that.
That's the next thing on the list too.
Yeah. These are just more example nominations. Do we have the one, because there have been a couple people who have in fact nominated him.
I don't know if I have the actual nominations.
I can try to bring it up on my Twitter.
French Parliament.
The French, and then somebody else did too.
I'll stop screen share. I'm like killing everyone's eyes scrolling Twitter.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
This is the stuff that we deal with in the pre-production. This is why we're so professional.
We're super scripted as we do like furious Google searches.
Right. Yeah, like I'm currently like furiously searching Stella's Twitter right now because we are so prepared. Where is it? She's been tweeting a lot lately.
It's like where you have to wait until the day after they announce whatever puffed up war criminal they're going to give the Nobel Peace Prize to.
Well, did you hear that
Julian Assange quote that says the mark of service to humanity is no longer the Nobel Peace Prize, but an Espionage Act indictment?
Yes. Stacey Abrams has been nominated, you guys.
Okay, so I thought that was a joke.
No, it's not.
So I didn't even bother to like mock it.
Yeah.
Stacey Abrams
filed
a losing lawsuit with Greg Palast that was funded to the tune of $700,000 plus by Michael Bloomberg, and she got nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah. She works for the Center for American Progress. She's on the board. I found that tweet. Do you want me to screen share the Stella tweet?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, hold on. Where the hell am I?
But she's a Democrat, Steve. You didn't know that?
And she's a woman of color, which is amazing.
Like, I watch CNN.
So we should all pretend like getting a position on the board of Center for American Progress and having Michael Bloomberg fund your losing lawsuit is a reason to get a Nobel Peace Prize nomination, right? Is everybody with me on that? That's what we're doing today.
Okay, so here should be taken to realize peace and justice. This is why myself and Janet Rice have nominated Julian Assange for the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize. And then there's a statement here. I don't really think you guys need me to read the whole thing to you.
And that's a different Janet Rice, by the way.
Is there another Janet Rice?
There was a Janet Rice in Bill Clinton's administration.
There was? I thought that was Susan Rice.
It would, no. There was a Janet Rice too, and a Janet Reno.
There's a lot of.
These are Australian politicians. For anybody who's.
Let's see. There was somebody else. is this yeah, this is the French. Yes. Okay, so yeah. I'm not even going to attempt the name here. So yeah, there's actually been a couple of people who have nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize. We all know he's not going to win. But like Julian said, the Espionage Act is a much much better thing.
That doesn't mean you can't flood the Nobel Committee or their timelines or people connected to them with, you know, either factual information about what's being done to Julian Assange, or like, hey, here's, you know, all of these corporate criminals going to jail as a result of this leak. Here's these politicians going away as a result of this leak. Here, you know, about the only place that you really can't do that is America, because we bring our war criminals back out on Ellen and give them butterscotch candy.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And if you don't think that's going to happen to Donald Trump, man, just I mean,
it's coming.
It is
coming. And the problem is that we don't, when these people do these, we were just talking about this with Jeffrey Haas earlier today when we were discussing Fred Hampton, because when all of the COINTELPRO stuff was coming out and all of that, Ford had a couple of chief aides who you guys may or may not have heard of, but Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld, they were instrumental in, you know, opposing all of the exposure of the COINTELPRO stuff, and that actually.
Oh, you know who else was? Sorry to interrupt, but you know who else was? A young lawyer who was, you know, fairly new at the CIA, with just. He had the love of his country burning in his eyes, and the love of God in his heart, and his name was William Barr.
Yeah.
He was instrumental in.
And then you recycle these assholes, and instead of dealing with them back then, we just let them get away with it, and you know, then we get the Iraq War, and we get, you know, it's fucked up. It's really like we just let these guys go, and then they just keep coming back and, you know, making things worse every time.
Well, to shout out Burma's here real quick, he did I think it's his Invisible Empire, New World Order Defined, where he goes through in detail the BCCI banking scandal and how it's tied to how it was in BCCI was literally an international terrorism financier bank, and the wonderful Robert Mueller and the wonderful William Barr worked hand in hand to cover up the BCCI banking scandal. Like, they were the two people in the Justice Department responsible for the special counsel and the investigation that was like, yeah, you know, some people got murdered, but like, we're going to put this one Abrams guy in jail, and that's about it. And then they let him out, and you have Barr and Abrams in the exact same administration, while at the same time Mueller's investigating Russian collusion and William Barr's overseeing it. Like, it's crazy, like the level of ridiculousness that people are allowed to believe in. Like,
the amount of people that you could be like, we got the band back together, that turned up in Donald Trump's administration.
Yeah, and it's the same thing you saw under Reagan too. Like, not to like completely derail the conversation, but these pretend right-wing puppeteers and celebrities that they build literally expand the intelligence state more so than any other presidents in history. Like you have Nixon, fucking Reagan, and now Trump expanding the intelligence state even faster than Bush was able to with the Patriot Act. And Biden's just going to piggyback off it. Like, we're in February and there's already a new domestic terror bill.
Yes.
Well, it's the old domestic terror bill.
Yeah, right. The old terror bill now.
Well, no, it was written in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And it was co-sponsored by a number of people, including one Bernard Jesus Sanders. And yeah, it's just it's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's waiting for something. They almost got it. with the 6th, but too many people who went inside the Capitol had spent too many years believing the marketing about their country. So they walked in between the velvet ropes and they took selfies.
Yeah.
And they were tourists.
Not even looking behind the curtain, but just being on stage going, oh! Right. They didn't get behind it. They didn't get that far to see like Nancy Pelosi's fucking like automated puppet strings that like make her move and speak in an alcoholic fashion.
With just jar of stem cells that it takes like Jello shots in order to get up in front of the camera at any given moment.
Well, no, they inject those directly under her skin. That's how she keeps that youthful wrinkle.
There's stem cells in that there Botox.
Do we want to talk about the pardon?
Let me do that again. Hang on.
What is happening?
Ah, shit.
Do we want to do a portion of the pardon application?
Yes, we should.
We got about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I will. I got it right.
We still, I've noticed that we definitely still get distracted even without guests.
It's fun though. It's fun getting distracted.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
I just honestly convinced myself that it wasn't our fault. Well, it was kind of our fault, but it was, but no.
I mean,
well, okay, so look, you can blame us and the guest as well, because if we weren't having a connection with the guest, then we wouldn't be wandering off onto tangents or get distracted like we would having a natural conversation. So it's a testament, really, when you think about it, to the
our ability to connect with our guests,
magnetic personalities that we have, and the overall joy that we are to be around. Really, when you get right down to it, that's I
don't know about you. I'm speaking for myself here, but I'm a goddamn delight to be around.
People don't realize it, how much fun we are, until they spend a week in a house with us, and they're like, "Dear God,
this is too much fun. I can't handle it."
How are you still awake?
Right.
And that's my favorite question. That's my absolute, like, what? How are you?
And I'm looking over there at like the second pound of coffee that is open, and it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody should come to DC.
Eyeballs.
St. Patrick's Day.
It's fun.
Please come hang out with us and experience the crazy.
And
we will be doing an event at least on March 17th. We may add a day, we may not. I don't know. We do know for damn sure that it will not just be St. Patrick's Day that we're looking at as an event day overall, because April 11th will be the 2-year anniversary of Julian Assange being illegally dragged out of the Ecuadorian embassy. Because he was bought and sold. So I promise you will be doing something for that. We don't have an exact where yet, but it'll be around that day as well. But yeah, St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, Washington, D.C. Get your ass there if you can. If you can't, do something in your town or in the closest major city. In fact, Misty had another idea. So she thought, she had 2 ideas. The first idea was, I don't have enough to do. That was the first idea. And once she realized I don't have enough to do, she then thought,
I'll take on something else to do.
Which is?
Okay, so I was kind of thinking about how I think more people would get involved if they didn't feel like they were like on their own. Like it's just going to be me. And especially people who are kind of new to politics or activism or whatever, and they don't really, you know what I mean? That can be kind of intimidating. So I thought if we can kind of play like Assange supporter matchmaker, sort of, like, hey, are you in Phoenix? Here's your group. Like, you can go to this Discord server or whatever, and you can connect with other, Assange supporters from your area, and then you guys can coordinate and start your own actions in your own group. And like, you can talk to Kendra, who has done a lot of good work in Denver, building her own stuff, and we can help you and whatever. But I feel like if we are able to kind of connect people and get them started, it will be less intimidating for people to get involved. So if we can build sort of this networking system where we can help you find other Assange supporters near you, then you guys can coordinate and get together. And rather than having to figure out how to get to DC, you can do your own stuff in your own hood. And, so hopefully that'll help people kind of connect and feel less intimidated or alone or unsure of yourself, because, that can be kind of, it can be kind of awkward just to get started and figure out, the best way to go about it, or even just gathering up the courage to like go stand on a street corner with a poster board. That can be intimidating if you're by yourself, but if you have, some comrades with you, it's a little bit easier. So yeah, we're going to try to start matching people up in their area. It'll be like, it's, as we get started, it will take a little bit of time for it to, kind of snowball. So it'll take a while for you to start finding people in your area. So don't get discouraged at first if like you go to your group's Discord or however we decide to organize it, and there aren't very many people there. As more people hear about what we're doing and how we're organizing it, more people will join up. So don't get discouraged if it's not like right away you have like a crew of 25 people to go hang out with, or to, do actions with. So yeah, but I think if we can just get people connected, we can get people more active in their own areas. Hopefully, that's the goal.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome idea.
Yeah, but another project. Here we go.
Let's do it, guys.
Who needs sleep?
Right?
It's fine.
It's 2 pounds of coffee every day.
Right? We should buy stock in coffee. Stonks.
No, that's domestic terrorism. You can't talk about buying stocks.
Andrew, we are already domestic terror.
I mean,
my dude.
They don't know yet. We haven't talked about stocks. That's not.
Yeah, but we already talked about you. We're done.
Right.
We're
No, it
done.
literally cracks me up that we were like at the Capitol. Like that's the part that like supposedly makes me smile. Like it's just ridiculous.
you silly, silly, silly bitches.
Bitches.
Oh,
I'm gonna get in trouble for saying bitches so much. People get mad when ladies say bitches for some reason.
Really, I've found that as a dude, you're more scrutinized.
Oh, for sure.
But I could see that.
Just
you're further empowering misogynists when you right.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of bitches, real
That's
quick.
something that a Nazi collaborator would do.
Well, I mean, obviously.
And
Speaking of bitches, Joe Biden, right?
Yes, he is a bitch.
He's a bitch. So this pardon document to turn us back.
Nice.
Right?
Good transition. Bitches to pardon documents.
Bitches to pardon documents.
I'm tired. I'm sorry, you guys. Everything's funny right now.
Julian Assange is presently facing criminal charges in the United States related to the publication of WikiLeaks information leaked to Chelsea Manning. The publications exposed misconduct committed in Iraq and Afghanistan during wars initiated by a prior administration. Mr. Assange is the first publisher ever to have been charged under the Espionage Act, a law passed during World War I. Mr. Assange already has been confined longer than any person ever charged or convicted under the Espionage Act in its more than 100-year history. While the United States seeks his extradition, he is incarcerated in Belmarsh Prison in London, a high-security prison experiencing a coronavirus lockdown. Because of Mr. Assange's internationally recognized profile as a journalist, human rights defender, press freedom advocate, and champion of free speech, his prosecution and incarceration undermine the national interest of the United States. Mr. Assange respectfully seeks a presidential pardon, which would preclude any subsequent administration from seeking to prosecute him relating to the Manning leaks and other publications that have exposed corruption, unethical conduct, and a violation of law by governments around the world. Background: Mr. Assange, an Australian citizen, is the most significant free speech activist in the Western world. He founded WikiLeaks in 2006, an organization dedicated to transparency and democratic accountability. WikiLeaks' mission is to influence governmental action by empowering citizens. WikiLeaks has described itself as a multi-jurisdictional organization exposing oppressive regimes in Asia, the former Soviet bloc, sub-Saharan Africa, and the Middle East. But we are of assistance to people of all nations who wish to reveal unethical behavior in governments and corporations. We believe that transparency in government activities leads to reduced corruption, better government, and stronger democracies. All governments can benefit from the increased scrutiny in the world community as well as their own people. We believe the scrutiny requires information. And it goes on throughout this first page, but just to save all the wordiness of it, the timeline here is really what I think is super important, at least in this first section of the pardon document. Because this literally just lays out, for the most part, all of the major pieces that WikiLeaks has done. So in 2009, we have the Milton Report exposing a toxic waste dump incident involving Trafigura, a giant multinational oil commodity trader, which affected 108,000 people. A report disclosing the serious nuclear accident at an Iranian nuclear facility, and a report on burn pits, which enabled U.S. servicemen to sue and obtain compensation for illegal exposure to toxic, deadly fumes at Army bases in Iraq and Afghanistan. 2010, collateral murder. Also, the war logs and the war diaries, Afghan and Iraq. We have the State Department cables, which came out. Many, including Amnesty International, have cited the publication of the U.S. Department cables of having triggered a democratic process known as the Arab Spring. Crediting WikiLeaks as a catalyst for the Arab Spring, Amnesty International stated that the year 2010 may well be remembered as the watershed year when activists and journalists used new technology to speak truth to power. In doing so, a greater push for greater respect of human rights. It is also the year when representative governments faced the real possibility that their days were numbered, or repressive governments. 2011, we have the Guantanamo Bay detainee assessment files. There was a bunch that came out between those periods, but 2016, we have the Democratic Party national leadership's emails that came out. 2017, we have Vault 7, the CIA, and then we have the Russian spy files, documents relating to Russia under Vladimir Putin, including releases under surveillance contractors in Russia, about surveillance contractors in Russia. And the other thing that came out in 2017, I believe, was Hillary Clinton's emails that WikiLeaks released. But this is literally the document that Donald Trump passed on, and that is now up to Joe Biden to pardon, drop the charges, what have you. Because we've always talked, we don't think pardoning is the hill to die on, but it is a path to secure Julian's freedom and end all of these fucking legal horror storms that his situation creates.
Yeah, we've long said that it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does to a certain degree matter how this is handled, but at this point, it's beggars can't be choosers. Like, we just kind of saving his life is kind of the most important part at this point. Just on that on that level, I guess.
Sorry, I'm like doing like 8
No.
right now.
You're good.
I'm about to yell at you guys for dead air.
I'm about to jump back into this real quick. I'm not
It's
going to
been
read.
so long, Josh. It has.
Hey, you guys
I
have
feel
been
like
really
we
good.
should-
You've been really good lately.
I
We
feel
have been
like
really
we
good
should have
lately.
a moment of dead air just so you can cut in and be like,
Yes.
hey,
You guys
Yeah,
are just
we need a
testing
moment
me.
of silence for our dead air
miss
call.
your voice, buddy.
Yeah.
No,
Also, I
that.
like a sticker or something because we've done so well.
Oh, could there be punch and pie? I would love punch and pie.
We need more cake. I like the cake.
Everybody needs more cake.
Dude,
Yeah.
I've got ice cream cake still.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I think Denny's will still be open after the vigil. I might be able
Ew.
to go get Denny's.
Why
Sounds
would you
good.
do that?
Because it's literally that's like Denny's or McDonald's or Taco Bell. It's like the only thing open in Northern Ohio. Or
Yeah.
Sheetz. It's rowdy.
I
But
guess that's fair.
but I wanna jump back in here because I'm not gonna go through all of the detail in each of them, but I just want to read through a list of the awards that Julian's won. The Martha Gellhorn Prize. We have the Walkie Foundation's Australian Pulitzer Prize. We have the Sydney Peace Foundation awarding him the gold medal in 2011. The foundation paid tribute to Mr. Assange's leadership, courage, and tenacity in journalism and publishing. And so I just think that, I don't know, we've said what we think like a billion times. But it's crazy. Like, it's Kevin Gastola's like, we shouldn't even have to be here today from September's court trial. Like, this should have already been over with at this point.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
what did
should
Kevin say?
never
We
happen.
shouldn't even be here. We shouldn't even be here.
That was a wild day.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That was the day Claire Dobbins pretended to be sick.
No,
Mhm.
she pretended her husband may or may
Yes.
not have had symptoms that may or may not have been
That's-
COVID related.
That's my
Yes.
favorite story for real. Like, like, as terrible as it is, like,
Because it starts, as all great stories do,
mm-hmm.
with hookers and blow.
Can't have a
Oh.
proper
tell the
lawyer
story?
story without hookers and blow.
You
Cocaine
really
and hookers.
can't. Well, you can tell lawyer stories without hookers and blow, but they are either boring or lies.
They at least
and-
involve
and
blow.
Oh, it's disgusting. It's gross. It is. It is. But I reiterate that with a decent rote memory and enough stimulants, anyone can become a lawyer. So if you're bored on this lockdown period and you have access to Adderall or like that, and you want to go get a law degree,
I've been thinking about it. But sounds enticing. Can I tell that story? Can
I-
you tell
I cannot.
we lost Misty?
I
She's like, I don't want to hear that story again.
I'm just tired.
I weep for whatever judge would wind up with you as an attorney.
Oh man, it would be fun. I would love it. Like, it just sucks that they put so much school between me and the court.
Like shortest legal career ever.
Right.
Can you seriously though? I just like had
Ever.
thoughts. And yes, can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Oh, it would be great.
Oh,
I would
That
only
we
be able
should
to represent
do that.
myself though, because I would not be able to be able to keep secrets. It would be terrible. I would only have to represent me. That would be.
oh boy. We do need lawyers in our midst though.
We
You
do.
know, we do. We do. As much as that sucks, we do need lawyers in our midst, for sure. Get a law degree. Oh, I just ruined the dead air. I should have left it go so Sleepy could yell.
Oh, there was such an opportunity.
I was about to.
That would
You
have
did.
been jumping the gun a little bit, don't you think, Josh?
Yeah, I was about to jump in with your 10-minute warning because we have a meeting after
Oh, yeah, we should wrap up. Mostly because I'm not even sure if I'm sitting here for real anymore.
That's my whole life. Like, welcome,
Yeah,
welcome to the club.
Got crap for sleep last night too.
Same. I was super nervous about that interview today, you guys. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Super nervous. And I didn't tell anybody. Like, I didn't even tell you guys it was happening because legit, I was afraid of jinxing it. I'm like, this is because I couldn't believe it was happening. So, yeah, I didn't sleep at all. And then I was like nervous energy all day until it was over. And then seriously, I told Jesse, once it was over, it was like instant exhaustion. It's like completely deflated. It was interesting. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's wrap this shit up so I can go crash hard.
Cool. My name is Andrew Smith. You can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Zigmund, Zigmund. I'm not the most active, but I still exist there. I would like to thank everybody for watching us. I would like to thank Josh for helping out with all the behind the scenes stuff. And my wonderful co-hosts for everything that we're trying to accomplish together. It's beautiful. That's the happy news, is that we still exist and we have not been removed from the internet yet. But if we do, Steve will tell you about Rockfin. You can find us on Twitter at action_4Assange. And I, again, just want to thank everybody for joining us, because the people watching are what make this worth doing.
And I'm Misty Winston. You can find me on Twitter at Sarcasm Stardust. Unlike Andrew, I am very active. So yeah, come follow me there. And then you can also find Facts on the Ground on YouTube and on the Rockfin. So go create your free account on Rockfin if you can do the monthly thing. For any of us, I don't care who it is, then you get access to everybody's stuff. So yeah, censorship is going to be a problem. So we have to start finding other platforms that are not going to fuck with us as hard. Thanks everybody in the chat. I love you guys so much. Seriously. And letter writing campaign. Don't forget on Mondays. I tweet about it. I'm trying to get more organized about it. If anybody is interested in helping me with either the letter writing campaign organization or the matchmaking stuff, please let me know, because I could use help. Help is good. Am I forgetting anything? I always feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't know. Anyways, I think that's it. I love you guys. And thanks, Sleepy Josh, for being tech ninja extraordinaire.
My name's Steve Hoykinen. I host a show called Slow News Day with my wonderful co-host Glory Jones, who is just respectful and polite and
quiet, demure,
just humble.
I can see her middle finger coming up. I can see her middle finger coming up slowly as you say this shit.
I'm waiting for the chat. I'm waiting. It's coming. Here it comes. Here it comes. Where is she? Where's Glory?
I love my co-host very much. Wonderful, and we do a fantastic show, and you should be watching it. You should be watching it on the Rockfin. You should go make your free Rockfin account right now, because Rockfin doesn't censor our content. They want us to put out content on their platforms, and they want us to talk to our audience like you guys are grown-ups and challenge you and not keep you trapped in some sort of a ideological bubble where you have to think one way about everything, or suddenly you're a communist or a fascist.
Or both at the same time.
Or both at the same time. Because we live in a fucking cartoon.
Listen, I have layers, Poikinen. I'm a very complicated woman.
Ron Paul went off today, so if you guys want to hear a good rant, Ron Paul went off.
Look, do I interrupt your clothes?
Trying to classify.
Do I ever interrupt your clothes?
I'm just saying, I wanted to throw that out.
Do I? Why am I the one? Like, really?
I'm about to unleash the wrap it up box, though. Seriously.
I love you guys. I do. Vanessa Bealey will be on Sunday. I am pretty sure that Johnny Vedmore is coming back on Thursday. I'm not 100% on that yet, but I'll let you guys know when I do. Very good things are in the works. SlowNewsDayShow.com has the archive. We do have a Discord. I don't have a link for it right now, but we do.
I'll get a short link up tonight.
Big thanks to Andrew and Misty, Sleep Josh on the ones and twos, everybody in the chat. I love you guys. Good luck to us all.